Hey, welcome everybody back to the Mad Tomorrow Show. Got we're going to live here. Hold on a second. I'm still waiting on him to say something. You there? You gone 11. You gone 11. Got to see the screen moving. Hold on a second, everybody, before I get the going back on here. I see. All right, I guess McGone's gonna join back. Hold on a second. Oh, Shay, what's going on, man? Thanks for the God damn, PLN 25 super chat. All right, man. Thanks for the super chat, man. What's going on? Shout out to the big bros. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for coming out, man. Let's see. All right, he's back. Try to add him in. Boom. You go. Can you hear me? You go. You go. I can't hear you. What in the fucking hell? Yeah, the Gone 11. Hold on a second, everybody. For some reason, he is in the stream, but I cannot hear him at all. You gone? You there? Oh shit, he's gone again. What the fuck? Yeah, what's going on, everybody? I'm trying to. For some reason, StreamYard's not working for him. Let's see what the fuck's going on. Yeah, we're still waiting on the Gone 11 to come back in, man. Debating about what? He got to prove he's a select male first before we can do any type of debate. you know, you just can't be giving voice to women out here and have all this anecdotal evidence about being a select male first before you just start debating people, man. You can't be giving voice to stuff like that. So you gotta be giving some type of voice about select male rather than giving dudes self esteem before you about getting picked by ran throughs before you can just start debating people. Nah, nah, man. You don't. You just don't do that type of stuff. Yeah, Mike Reed, what's going on, man? I'm waiting for him to come back. What's going on, Todd City? No debate 2020. There's no debate, man. There's no debate. I mean, man, because some of these people criticism is getting way out of hand. OSYSBM. And I don't see what the debate is about. Because the same people who do have a problem with SYSBM, for some reason, never had a problem with EYSBW. I'm talking about through how they was messing up the kids, and I decided everybody was just gonna follow their lead and all kinds of other stuff. So it just really never made any sense to me. When you say reptiles, oh my god, these reptiles. All right, thanks for the 199 super chat. All right, Nagone 11 is back again. Let's try this again. All
Hey,
right,
can you hear
Nagone,
me?
I hear something now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man,
I can hear you now,
this
man.
man, this StreamYard's a bitch, bro. I don't like it, man. I really don't.
Oh God.
Man,
Yeah,
there's
I
so much.
feel you, man.
This shit's a pain in the ass. But anyway, what's going
Yeah,
on,
all right.
man?
What's going on, man? Thanks for coming out. We
Yeah,
got some people coming in, and we need to start going over the history of what SYSBM is about. Because apparently, a lot of people think this just came out of nowhere, and
man.
that people just started doing this out of nowhere when this was something that was going on for quite some long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I met dude who was doing the SYSBM thing. Like when I first went to Germany, like my first station, and once you start seeing like older veterans on base, when you start moving from place to place, you be like, damn, there's a lot of brothers who live out here. I mean, because overseas they have like National Guard contingents overseas in places. And you be like, how do they have a National Guard contingent over here in a place like this? You be like, oh shit. Like men been holding this motherfucker down for a while, even over here. So you be like, damn. So that's where I guess the previous people from SYSBM first started off, man. So welcome to the show. This is Nagone 11 and Man Tomorrow.
All
So
right.
we're
Yeah.
gonna go over some history of how this stuff even started before it even became a movement. You know where it is now. So all right, Nagone, take it away, man.
Okay. Well, SYSBM really has been around long before people saying "Save yourself, black man." This has been going on a long time. Um, but when I myself really first became aware of this SYSBM, and we weren't calling it SYSBM then, was pretty much, I would say, coming at the end of the 80s, 90s, and when I first started going down to South America, and I started seeing black men that were down there, and I'm talking about Brazil and Colombia, but primarily Brazil. If we want to speak about of which I call Mother B. And when I first started going down to Mother B, I first started to, I started seeing brothers who were there, and these brothers, they were older cats, and they were quiet about it. They were down there buying property, having places that they were living in. They were married to to other women, or at least had girlfriends who were there, and they were living a different life, and they were kind of keeping it quiet. Really, to be quite frank with you, they weren't out there. Hey, listen, man, come on down. A lot of them were saying that, but they wanted a certain kind of person to kind of come down there, and they were rather quiet about it, saying, we got a nice little secret here. We got things kind of going on really good, and kind of leave these other guys to the rat race up there, because what we're experiencing is different than what most of these other guys are going to experience. And we only want, yeah, basically, to a large extent, a lot of these brothers just wanted, brothers of like mind kind of with them. And that's what I first started seeing. So it was very quiet. You had some people who would come down. You had some of the rappers who I knew, Biggie Smalls, and some of these guys. They were coming down during that period, and they were kind of keeping it pretty quiet as well. But you didn't see a lot of people coming down, and but yet people were kind of doing their own thing, getting their minds right that way. Um, with the advent, I would say, really, in a big way, of the not only just the internet, but of social media. And as this started to get out more and more and more and more during the late '90s, then moving into the early 2000s, you know, where brothers were caught on. and black men really started to see what was going on, and they started to leave this country and started to go down, like I said, to Brazil, and Charles Grease with his film, and then next thing you know, Essence magazine with this hit piece and everything else like that, because they would, people were very people were challenged, they were afraid of what they were seeing here in the States. Some men and plenty of women for good reason. Um, this became somewhat of an issue, as we saw, and then this thing has grown up, and as the manosphere kind of came into into being, and then it started to come into fruition, as we saw the manosphere first start out countering some of the narrative that was going against us for so many years. And other brothers like Janks Morton and all them coming out there with Black Men Think and the whole deal of really starting to set some of this narrative correctly and getting some of the negative stereotypes that we had. We were starting to address some of this. And then, that whole Manosphere 1.0 with Thug Titian, the magnificent Thug Titian, and many other brothers who were out there and then addressing these issues as well, brilliantly, I would have to say. Then we had the second iteration, of where we had, Manosphere 2.0, if you will, where we started to see a lot more of this SYSBM, Save Yourself Black Man, really come into being. We started to see a lot more of this thing grow from a social media perspective, a movement that has been going on for a long time. And I literally would say since really the 60s, but really you started to really see it start to hit more in the 80s, 90s for sure, and in the 2000s, it's been on and popping. So that's been a really kind of a quick thumbnail sketch of the evolution of SYSBM, which has been around a very long time. And Black men, it's not about, well, I want to be with a white woman. No, that's not it. It's really about Black men living your best life, really, how would I say, developing yourself to the best, living your best life and be as happy as you can. And there are a lot of people here that don't want to see you happy. There are many people that want to see you happy, and unfortunately, we have some Black men who don't want to see us happy as well. And because we've been in such a difficult a spot in so many ways for such a long time, but yet this is kind of its development. Brothers started to see that there was just a broader world than where they were in their hometowns and dealing with the stuff that they were dealing with. They saw there was a much broader view. And at times that view was better from the perspective is that they were meeting and dealing with the kinds of women in situations that they felt more comfortable with, that was dealing with their issues more satisfactorily. And a lot of brothers just did not want to deal with a lot of the contentious, disputatious, disrespectful type of attitudes that many were dealing with. And when they went to different areas, they found that it was a different experience. Not so much that women are so much different, but women culturally will deal with you differently in other areas, and kind of give you some of the regard, some of the respect, and some of the pardon the expression, some of the love that some of these brothers were really looking for. As I said, I related this story one time where I was down there in Brazil, and we were in Bahia, and there was a brother who came down, a big, strong, tough looking dude, big beard on him and everything else like that. And, he had come down and he was looking all hard and tough. And, next thing we had some beautiful sisters, Brazilian sisters around that were treating him like gold and cooking for us and doing a lot of really good stuff. And his brother broke down and started crying. And when I looked at that, and I related the story quite a few times. I believe I did it on Obsidian's program on a few occasions. And why I bring that up is because when I saw that, it was, to me, it just said, there's something wrong. There's something terribly wrong in our country to have some guy come here and be treated decently and start crying like he had never seen this before. It was a terrible commentary on where we were coming, from whence we were coming from, and then where we were. It was a terrible commentary from whence we came. It was terrible commentary on that, and I just looked at this, and it was a very powerful, very hard visual where I almost like it almost took my breath away looking at this, and it said, "We're like, oh my God, what is this? What I'm really seeing?" So we saw some, we saw that a lot of brothers, as I said, as they developed themselves and started to look around, they started to see other experiences. Now, I'm not saying that every brother's going to be doing this, and not everyone is going to. And we're not saying that every brother, shouldn't. It's my belief that every brother should, but because you have a lot of women coming into, or a lot of other people coming into the United States, so you don't have to even so much travel. A lot of these people are coming there. I was at, I have a security company. We were dealing with some security issues last night at a club, and I was just there for a short while. And I'm looking at these East African women rolling through, and here they are coming there and whole different game. And they're coming in there, and they like, we like black guys. They're not chasing the white dudes. They come over here, they running with the brothers. So brothers are looking at, the different types of people coming into the country. So many replacements are here. So don't develop yourself and really, as we talk about self-improve and really begin to get your careers together, get your minds as well, body, all these things all work together. And then you're going to make a space for some derelict type of person who doesn't respect you, who has a general bad attitude towards you, and you're supposed to somehow fix this. And the only true way to really fix this is to leave it alone, is to get away from it, is to drop it, is to take it away. And when you take it away from them, only then will they ultimately have some real respect for you at any kind of level. Doesn't mean they'll like you, because liking and respect are two different things, but they'll respect it. And that's the name of the game. And you want to have your respect and your self-respect. As we've looked at this last year, we've seen all kind of crazy stuff going on. Literally, like I said, I've said this on MOT's program before, I'll say it again. We saw some woman who says you are defeated or beaten or whatever the fuck the term they're using, and you running with white women and all, talking all kind of craziness, but yet we'll run off and we'll get knocked up by some multiple baby mama having dude, and then ultimately have a single out of wedlock baby to kind of add to the problems, but yet they're sitting there talking about your issues. And other women who've had multiple children from white men, and they're going to sit here and tell you about you as a black man running in, and they broke up with them, but they're back with some other Negro, and now they're sitting here trying to tell you what time it is. I mean, this is the craziness and stuff that you're looking at. And, and then all of this, the other stuff going on. We talked about this, the icy hot stunners, out here, running behind black women and knocking them out in the South by 700-800 of them, and impregnating them, and, or not even impregnating them, but giving them AIDS and all this kind of stuff, and then bringing them back to you. And there's no answer, and there's no consequence for that. There's no, people are not to answer for this, but yet they're telling you to go back here and grab this woman and deal with this. And most brothers saying, no, we're not doing this. So my view is, we've seen all this craziness. There's so many other examples that brothers can sit here and just add on to. It's just so many. There is no debate anymore. That debate is over. It's over. And it's been over for a while. There is no gender war or this kind of, that's over. There is no debate. Now the question is really, brothers, about really improving yourselves, really going for what you consider to be the most important in your life. And this is what they're upset about. And they got other brothers sitting here trying to get you worried about that, to sit here and say, no, bruh, no. I can't worry about that. I have to worry about how I am going to achieve, what I am going to do. Like we were on the Brain Trust, we're talking about consistently getting your education together, getting your certifications, consistently moving forward, and improving in all ways. You can't improve with a partner that is not down on your team right, or somebody who doesn't respect you the right way, but yet they're going to talk to you like a dog, and you're supposed to deal with this. It's insane. You can't deal with that. That person has to be cut from your team. People that don't respect you and not running with you properly, it is your duty as a man to cut them, to clip them to clip them from your existence and move forward. You've got to cut a lot of them loose. I don't care what anyone else says. There's no debate about this anymore. That's why I say there is no debate. And anybody who's debating this at this stage of the game, debating this with these people, you're wasting your time. You're not dealing with anyone that's dealing with anything realistic, because they have no answers on how to deal with this situation properly. They may have some of the answers, but they don't want to tell you what those answers are. And some of those answers are what I'm telling you, what they don't want to tell you. Cut that shit loose, cut them back to the fat meat and keep it moving. That is the answer. Many of them do not want to deal with that. Well, the race is going to die if you don't do this. The race is going to die? No, these derelicts are going to die. What? That's what's dying, okay? Because you've got their replacements that are already coming here to this country, okay? And there are over 1.5 billion of melanated women around the globe that are, some of them will come here, many of them will be there, and you'll have your opportunities to kind of deal with the situations that you want to deal with that work that's best within you. Your community is the community you make. It's not about, you owe this community anything, because this community is not looking out for you to a large extent. They're not looking out for you. Just got my hair cut last week, and what am I looking at? Negro Council for Council for Negro Women in the North Bronx. Council for Negro Women. I don't see no councils for Negro men nowhere. I don't see it anywhere existing around here. We have to really work hard and look out to a large extent for our best interests, our best benefit. And it's tough. I'm not saying that this is going to be the easiest of jobs. A lot of us are pushing it very hard, but it's within our interest to work very hard to really push forward with respect to your interests and your happiness. That's going to really push, this game forward. Taking a lot of dead weight, dealing with derelict people who do not respect you is not your responsibility to take care of them. It's your responsibility to take care of yourself and those that are working right along with your program, whoever these people may be. And that is the bottom line to this game. These millennials have seen it. They're moving in that direction. I see it going on. A lot of some of my friends and their children have gotten married, and their sons have married outside. Okay. Some of them East African women, some of them Asian, some of these guys are making other moves, and there's nothing you can do about it. So you have to look at what the reality is on the ground. And Save Yourself, Black Man is really about improving yourself, self-actualization, and really moving forward with getting your best person, your best self out forward. And you have those who will say they're melanated women, Black women, or whoever, and they don't have that interest for you. Some of these brothers, they don't have that interest for you. Okay, they don't. And it's a tough game to say. It's a tough titty to suck, but that's where we're at. And that's exactly how we have to move. There are those who will not like it. You have not been put on this earth to like it all the time. That's just not how it goes. Sometimes you're going to have to deal, with the bread, you're going to have to eat some of the crust. So some folks are going to have to deal with some of that crust there. All right. But your job is not to have to deal with what you don't want to. And when I say you don't want to, there's certain things you don't have to deal with. You don't have to deal with a derelict person who is not really on your team, who's going to bring you down. You don't have to deal with that. No, you don't. And anybody who's telling you that you have to is not any type of friend of yours.
Yeah, I mean, like, I didn't know how much the United States government was behind creating National Guard contingents in foreign countries. When I start seeing these group of black men, very quiet, very on the low, you just start seeing them other places. I'm like, damn, how on earth do they have like National Guard contingents in all these countries catered around black men who want to stay the hell over there? I mean, dude, they've been doing this shit since like Vietnam, apparently.
It's been going on. It's been going on a long time. Like I said, when I
Yeah,
first started South in America, I couldn't believe some of the brothers that I saw that were down there, and they were quiet.
yeah,
They
very
weren't
much,
saying shit.
very much. So.
Yeah, they were quiet. And they weren't like shh, but they were like, nah, we're down here, man. We're doing our own thing. And next thing I see them, so two of these brothers, they own nice places, and they were renting stuff out, and they were just rolling, and they weren't saying shit. And I was sitting there
No.
saying, my God, what is this? So I started to really see this on my own, where I started seeing more brothers, American brothers, moving. I had been to Europe and I had been to Russia and so forth. I'd been to those spots, but when I really started to hit South Am and started to really communicate with the Spanish and Portuguese language a great deal, I started to truly see where a lot of us were, and we were quiet about it. And these guys were saving themselves. They were out, and the big thing about it was they didn't say a lot. So now you have social media that's really bringing this more to the fore, and that's what people are talking about. And there were certain articles, as I said, the Essence magazine article that was written. I think this was back in 2005 or so. And brothers, well, yeah, well, I'm gonna want my black woman here, and I'll screw them. These guys were getting all tight and everything else like that. I mean, I understood it, but brothers were down there, and they were not even thinking about what that article's about. The article did nothing but send more people down there. And then I started to see black women coming down, following you, trying to see what you were doing. And that's where I was like, oh my God, this is getting out of control, because they started to see exactly what was going on. What are they going on? What are they going out here to see? You saw some brothers running rough, and you saw some brothers who were running with highly butter-laid females. And then these women were getting tight. And I understand, because they started to realize, hey, look, man, maybe what we're doing is not the right thing. And now they're looking at options, and now I'm upset. The takeaway started to come down. And I say, brothers, continue to take away, because if you want to see some improvement on this, do a takeaway. The brothers who are telling you to stay here, they have no answers for you as to how to get this thing back. They have none. Stay here, just stay here, and let me shame you into it. They have no answers, none for you, and they try to tell you ain't shit. Fair enough. If we ain't shit, then it's okay for us to do what we got to do. That's really how I look at it. It's not about them. It's not about these women. It's about you. It's not about any one specific female or any specific dude. It's about you. And that's how you have to collectively kind of come together. And a lot of brothers have come up and have seen that this is a big problem for them. I'm just looking at here in the manosphere. I'm looking at some of these other brothers, Mr. Fantastic, Ramil, and these guys. They're having, hangouts, 500, 600, MOT. I think I saw Ramil a couple of times, 2,000 people up in there. This is where folks are flocking. They're not going to where these other guys are with much smaller venue, with smaller views. That's speaking for itself. So as far as I'm concerned, there is no debate. It's over. The deal of it is now is that brothers really have to sit back and really start to galvanize your skills, our dollars to a large extent. Think more politically, economically, and that's what we're talking about here. Development, the mentoring piece, and the whole game. This is really all about. It's about us and saving yourself, black men. Ain't nobody else out here trying to save you. Okay, and if these women are trying to save you, you see them coming on any programs to keep you out of jail. See any programs of them really on your behalf, really working for you to really come out here and to prevail. Who's really out there out front really trying to push that? When you get out here and you look at that really close, you don't see much. So I'm just saying, just look at what the realities are on the ground. And I'm just talking, I'm not trying to get all, flowery and talk a whole lot of crap. I'm just talking what the realities are. And I know some of them don't like it. Well, you ain't here to like it. The name of the game is you got to deal with some of this. And there's very little else you can do for the fathers who are out here who are raising daughters. Well, man, don't pump it up, don't run off. Fair enough, but make sure you raise your daughter in such a way where she's conscientious, where she's respectful, where she has self-respect, a great deal of it, where she can respect others, and ultimately, yes, help to train her to be a good partner for a good man. You can help in that, but that's not mostly your job. It's going to be her mother's job. And if she's not that kind of person, then the woman you're with and is not training your daughter properly for that type of role, then who are you going to put that on? You? You have women out here unchecked. They're not checking each other. And you're supposed to sit here and handle all this. Is all your fault? You have to sit down here and look at the madness that's going on. And I'm just sitting here saying, most of these brothers have said, man, listen, I'm not, I ain't got time to play that. There's certain things I have time to do, other things I don't. And they're prioritizing properly by putting their time, effort, and resources into themselves to build themselves to move forward. Those who understand this, women who understand this, can move forward with you. The few who can. The majority who are derelict, disrespectful, disputatious, angry, upset, and all the different issues that they should be working out with themselves as well, and are not, but yet are trying to blame on you. I'm sorry, man. You do not have time to fix all that. And that's where we are at on the ground with this right here, right now. And SYSBM is running right in the middle of this, standing up, and folks don't have an answer for it. And they're angry. And they want you to pay because you're making your own moves.
Yeah, thanks for coming out, everybody. We got 153 people watching. Could y'all get the likes up so that way we can get more people in here? Um, like, I had to make some calls around, and apparently, dude, there's like contingents of these National Guard people that I was looking at when I was in Germany. Like, dude, these people are everywhere. They're in Australia. They're in Japan. They're in like I met people when I went to Honduras. People are in like Ecuador, Panama. Like when dudes left after Vietnam and they didn't come back, the government kind of helped these dudes stay there, be
Yeah.
established. Yeah. And so I was kind of shocked and surprised because I started talking to like older veterans, before I, wanted to do the show. And I was like, wait a minute. I mean, because I had to think back when I first started seeing people just overseas and just normal black people, and they just were there, but they didn't say nothing. They just said that they retired overseas. And I'm like, well, how long you been over here? I'm like, well, I've been 20 years. I'm like, wait, you're 40 something now. This is back when I was, 23, 24. I'm like, so that means that you got here. Wait a minute. How did this work? Yeah. So once you looked at it, you be like, look, these people came over there. They wanted to stay, and that's how they kind of got their foothold in the country before they start building those bases over there. They had most of these people living over there before they had,
Mm.
kept them over there for a while. So a lot of these people who's been over there for a while, and and people don't understand, like the black dudes who you meet overseas is a far cry different from the black guys who you meet in the United States. It's kind of like I remember like the first place that like I rented when I was in Germany. That was my first stage, Ramstein Air Force. I remember like the first place that I went over somebody's house who was like way old. This dude rented like an incredibly huge place, and he had like, what I'm saying, 10 airmen standing in his place. But the dude made sure that most people worked together and everybody got along. This dude was super cool. His wife was super cool. It was just a cool ass environment. And it became from like, a couple people living over there to like 20 or 30 people hanging out there. And
Well,
this dude's place, just right off base.
you talk about the military. The military definitely has played a role in helping to do that. But I think a lot of other brothers may have known people who were from the military, and they moved into over into those areas, and because they saw how some other people were kind of moving, and then they that helped. I didn't find a lot of this out from any military travels. I was not in the military. I just traveled around myself, and in school I had gone to Spain for a while, a semester in Spain and all that, study Spanish, and so I learned that language, and then that gave me a chance to kind of get a slightly broader view on the world, if you will, and from a multilingual perspective, and then I was able to pick up Portuguese pretty easily after that, and all that. But that gave me an opportunity to kind of see things from a slightly different perspective, and just knowing another language. In some respects, it kind of helped you kind of see how people kind of thought, and so there was some differences in you can see some of the deeper differences in culture. So a lot of the brothers who I saw who were traveling around kind of had these understandings, and you get that when you do travel around. So I understand there's a parochial mindset here, and folks don't want to leave, and there's a lot of fear and going elsewhere and so forth. And I understand a lot of that, but a lot of it's coming home. A lot of it's coming back. Like I said, I was at a spot last night, and man, and boy, these African women coming over are looking insanely beautiful, crazy. They're not fat, they're not out of shape, they're looking good and exceedingly friendly, and brothers are all over them. And I'm just saying, oh, there's some changes going on. So I'm looking at this on the ground myself, and I'm just saying, wow, SYSBM is here, and you don't have to go outside of your country, if you will, to even start to deal with that. So I do suggest people do travel, but a lot of that's going on here. So I just want to be clear on SYSBM, how this thing has come about. It's been around a long time. This is nothing new. It may sound new now because it's part of the manosphere and people are hashtagging and everything else like that. But this has been around a long time. There's nothing new really about this. For most of the brothers who call themselves SYSBM, this has been going on before most of them were born. So this is just how the game is, and it's only going to get bigger. That's why you have a lot of debate over it, a lot of anger, a lot of angst, and so forth. New actors coming into the space to debate it and fight it and so forth and shame it and then doing whatever. I understand why this is, but at the end of the day, there's a reason for it. There's a reason why people are not putting many of these American black women on the pedestal anymore, putting them at any high desire rate. It's like, we don't care about you. You ain't shit. Well, leave. Here, I'll help you pack your bags, take off. We're gonna do our own thing. So people are getting upset about that. As well as they should. I understand. They should get upset. But then you have to sit down and say, okay, I'm upset. Well, what's the answer? How do we deal with this issue? How do we solve it? What are the problems? Let's get to the root of that. And now you got to look hard in the mirror, and that's the difficult look. That's where the drama is. Looking in that mirror, and it's tough. And that's where we're at with this. That's where we're at. And I suggest all brothers, at a certain level, really be about saving yourself in all ways. And this has nothing to do with a white woman or anything else like that. It has to do with, with you, and that's the key here. And I don't want that message to be lost, like others are trying to.
What's up, fellas?
What's going on?
Yo,
What's up? What's up?
Hey, man.
what's on, man? Let me
You
call both
mentioned.
of these super chats, man, before y'all get started. OW
Okay.
504 super chat. Passport brothers are here to support. Fellas, we're few, but the numbers are growing quickly. I mean, but the people have to realize that they made it grow quickly by trying to sell you basic access to femininity as if it was a premium, and that shit is gonna continue to keep blowing up in motherfuckers' faces.
Yes,
Let me
sir.
get to the other super chat. Boom, boom. Uh-huh. Johnny Blaze, and Matilda, you're hitting them where it hurts. The wallet. Dude, that was never my intention. My intention was to make black men be in a better place so that way they can be able to compete. It wasn't our fault that they took up the mantle behind trying to help out certain people at the expense of everybody else in society. When you go to these other places, any place, there's not the women who actively work against the men in society, and then they turn around when they have no vitality left and turn around and try to blame men for the actual condition that they freely took part in. Like, you
Yeah.
don't see that in other places in the United States. It's just only here. And we got Rugged G with the $2 super chat and MOT salute. All right, thanks so much, man. So from now on, if y'all see super chats and I don't, make sure y'all call them out so that way I can be able to read them out because they don't stay up there a certain period of time. I want to welcome everybody through. Thanks for coming through. This is a
No problem, man.
educational stream, so that way we can talk about the history of. So that way we need to go over the most ridiculous arguments against, because as with the Black Brain Trust does, for people who go against their information, we got to also be able to answer legitimate or even illegitimate criticism public about people who do not like the movement for whatever reason. All SYSBM is a pro-choice movement, pro-choice to deal with whoever you want to, as the same thing that is happening in society. Like, you know, women have a lot of choice in society, and there's nothing wrong with them having a choice. But if you're stuck playing in a system that don't benefit you, and your productivity is to be promised to someone from a level that you're being starved out of the marketplace in order to get you to overvalue things that you clearly shouldn't be. That's why SBM is the only way to even the odds. And I'm not sure why there would be men would be against SYSBM, to be quite frank with you, because they freely sit around and watch other people be as free as they can, to be quite honest. So it shouldn't even be any type of debate. I think it says more about the people who want you to be under these circumstances with no choice versus you have choice versus the circumstances that's here.
MOT, let's just call it out for what it is. What you're dealing with is fear. Raw, unadulterated fear. It's fear. That's what you're dealing with. Me, I see it as clear as day. It's fear. People are afraid. What are they afraid of? The black man who has the ability, the freedom, and the alacrity to make different choices than what some others would like him to make is a fearful thing. This has been a very big part of our existence in this country for since the end of slavery and moving out. I remember when black people were starting to move up north, whites were literally trying to hold some blacks at gunpoint. Don't leave and don't get off the farm. You owe me this, you owe me that. You can't leave the farm. Ain't nothing for you up north anyway. White folks are putting a gun to your head, try to keep you down on the farm.
Wow.
But nah, we going up north. We going to the cities and the factories. We out. Folks were trying to put the gun to you then. Brothers now have moved from that, moved out, and now brothers are jumping overseas and going a lot of different places because there's a change in the paradigm, there's a change in the dynamic, and there's a lot of fear. The community is going to be destroyed if you do this, and everything else of that nature. So there's fear involved. Fear. Terrifying, raw, unadulterated fear. And the black man being mobile, moving, and thinking more freely is a fearsome thing. And many of us don't want to do this. You women certainly don't, and they want to treat you in many respects the way they do and have you not change and think differently. And you have many of these men who are agents in this, and they feel the same way. And that's what you're dealing with. Dealing with fear. Make no mistake about it.
All right. Nice opening statement. We're going 11. We're going to welcome the panel here. The people who showed up thus far. We got Super Triz, Ty City, Spiritual Logic, Hope.
What's up?
All right, what's going on, man? So first, Super Triz, what do you have to say about the opening statement and the topic in general thus far? We got 179 people watching. Could you please like the video so that way we can get more people in here? Thank you so much for everybody for coming out.
Thank you, MOT, for having me. Respect to everybody on the panel, but I think Ty City want to put a word in direct response to what Nagone was saying. So I can go after Ty City if that's okay.
Hey,
all right,
man.
Cool. All right, man.
Ty City, what's up, baby?
What's up, Nagone? What's up, panel? What's up, everybody? Hey, I wanted to chime in, bro, because it's interesting that you brought that up about Vietnam, right? A few years ago, I was looking up, I was looking up the civil rights movement and how it correlated with Vietnam. And a lot of brothers stayed over there, bro. And they actually were welcomed by the Vietnamese. When they captured you, they gave you the option to live there. And if you look this up, it's a lot of videos showing propaganda, signs that they'll have up in the jungle, telling black man that this ain't your fight, black man. You know what I'm saying? And they was actually giving you the option to live over there. So a lot of those brothers actually deserted the war, right? A couple years ago, they did a documentary called Soul Alley, where these black guys made made a nightlife strip for the soldiers and stuff to party, and they was actually doing business during the war. And yeah, man, it's a lot to it. Like y'all said, man, brothers been finding a way out because why would you go back? You know what I'm saying? All the racism that was going down, you didn't have no fucking opportunity, none of that shit, man. A lot of them ended up living in Vietnam.
If you ever been to Cambodia or these areas, I mean, I've been through there. Your man MOT has been through there. MOT, you want to tell about these basically black looking like Cambodians who are just express that to him. Just tell him what's up on that very quickly.
Tell you, man, I got me one myself, and I'm telling you, man, it's real nice, man, to have cultured people who are actually with melanin content who knows how to act, man. There is we put so much emphasis on game when all game is a lack of culture amongst women. So a few men have assigned women the power to pick and choose men, and it's like, I know we use a lot of things in this society as game when all game is culture, but game has kind of been co-opted by people who normally wouldn't be running anything in any society, and it's kind of been like a way to sell access to women back to men at the behest of the women's empowerment in society. So it's kind of like. Okay.
I wanted to chime in because this is a talking point that they got about, they don't want you in these countries and all this other stuff. But man, these soldiers now they citizens would tell stories about how Vietnam went through a famine and they actually rationed food off to them as well. They actually saw them as being part of them.
Well, you have a lot of people who will sit down and say they don't want you over there, but they've never been over there. So what do they really know? I mean,
exactly.
It's just that simple. I'm going to talk to the ignorant about key information that they don't know, and that the ignorant is going to try to tell me what's going on. No, it's just not going to happen. So you have to put things in its proper perspective, and that's why I'm not breaking on anybody or anything else. I'm just talking real hardcore, raw dog, what's on the street kind of stuff. And and that's ultimately what we're dealing with here. And this is not a break on anyone. This is not an attack on anybody. SYSBM has been a growing thing for decades. And it's good that there's a debate on this right now because, quite frankly, more and more people are going to get involved. And if this situation is going to straighten out here in the United States for those who want you to be here and to deal with this, then come up with very good or very excellent solutions to deal with this problem. Shaming tactics and that are not going to work. It's showing you're not going to work. The biggest, how would I say, the biggest hangouts that we're seeing now, with thousands of people in there, are not with these people telling you, get back on the plantation and roll. That's not happening. Folks are not listening to that. They're not buying that. Black men are smart. Black men are going to go where their best chances and opportunities are. We always talked about it, for us who traveled overseas, that's how you even the score. You even the score that way. If things were stacked against you here, you could even the score elsewhere. And you could come back here if you choose. You could always come back here. But the bottom line very simply is, there are certain levels of options that you do have to deal with a culture type of situation. And it is different. Some people don't want to deal with that. Some people want to say, hey, stay here. I got it going like that. Okay, fair enough. Then if you got it going like that, get everybody else going like that. How are you going to do that? Okay, what's your solution to this problem? They have none. No solutions at all. None. But they're telling you to stay here. Fair enough. But if you got no solutions, and you want us to sit here and scream and try to shame people, it's not going to work. So you better come up with something that's workable. Go ahead.
I just want to chime in real quick. Shout out to Xanatos Clutch with the $2 super chat. The community is finished. #SYSBM. Fitting that Xanatos Clutch has mentioned the quote unquote community because one of the main arguments against SYSBM is that the men are so boisterous. They're essentially casting stones back on the quote unquote community upon their exit. And when they say cast stones, they basically mean that people are being vocal about their decision to seek out other options, or in essence, seek the best option available to them. But it's odd that no one has a problem with women of the quote unquote community basically uh, uh, chronicling every event that occurs in their personal lives via social media. Instagram and Facebook are prime examples. You go through anybody's Facebook or Instagram page, they're basically highlight reels of things that happen in their lives. And they have no problems having vlogs and things of that nature, speaking about events that occur in their life, whether it be dealing with relationship or not. And most of the time, it is dealing with relations. So for men to be silenced in their endeavors to catalog their events, they want to share their happiness, just as women frequently want to share their happiness. So why can't men share their happiness in whatever endeavor they embark on, whether it be with a woman who is of the community or not? Furthermore, why is there no scrutiny when people talk about their choices to be with somebody from the quote unquote diaspora, yet their outcomes are an aversion to the community as a whole? We never actually talk about people who engage in quote unquote conventional relationships with someone from their quote unquote same group, somebody from the same race as them, someone from some of their own people. But when we see these relationships and they have poor or negative outcomes, there is no scrutiny against them. Well, you can have somebody who has a relationship with somebody from a different ethnic group, and that relationship is prospering, but people still have something to say about it. Now, if there's anybody on the panel that can make that make sense to me, I'm all ears.
I will say one more again. There is no debate. There's no debate on this. I mean, this is what's going down in the field. The name of the game, very simply, is since there's no debate and this is happening, what are their answers to possibly turning this situation around? How are you going to change many of the attitudes of the people that you're dealing with? How are you going to do that? How are you going to go about doing that? How are you going to go about making people feel as though that they want to deal with the people, with many of the people that are here? Most people do not have a right. It's not your right to have to deal with a disputatious, angry individual. I will repeat a story one more again that I faced, and I've got many other little vignettes like this. But I was saying I was going to my tutorial program that I was dealing with on a Saturday and a Sunday morning in the city, and I'm heading down there, and I'm going over, and it's a Scarsdale train station. I walk in there. Scarsdale, an upscale area. This is not the hood where you're gonna be dealing with some hood chicks who's gonna be all fucked up at you and all that. Because quite frankly, I mean, I think we put a lot more on these hood chicks than sometimes we need to. All right, now I'll get into that a little bit later, but here I am in an upscale area, and here we are, it's me and a bunch of white people in there, and then there's another black woman, and I'm online, and she feels I cut her off. I did not cut this woman off at all. And she was like, well, you cut me off. And I was like, hold on a second, I didn't cut you off. Listen, sir, please, whatever she wants to order, I will pay for what she orders, and I'll buy what I need to buy for myself. And so, Miss, I don't want you to be upset thinking that I cut you off. All right, I don't want you to be upset. I will purchase. If I'm ahead of you, I will purchase exactly what you're looking for. She wasn't buying much, but she bought some, and I bought it for her. And this woman looked at me like I shit in her soup. Black female. Looked at me like I literally shit in her soup. And I'm sitting there saying, what is this? And I wasn't nasty to her. I wasn't, you bitch. No, I wasn't nothing like that. And, it was so bad. And when she walked out, white people just put their head down, they left, and here this woman walks out, disrespectful.
But you know what? You know what you did, Nagone? You know what you did?
Hold on a second. Let me finish up. The very next day, like I said, the coup de grace, the next day, I come in, and the Indian proprietor of the store was like, yo, we had a lot of people in here before. I didn't want to say anything to you. You're in here this morning, and there's nobody else here, and I just want to tell you what I saw was terrible. I feel bad for you. It was terrible what I saw. You know, this person was so disrespectful. You bought this stuff for her, and this is how she treated you. What is this? You know, and they're looking, and here are others looking at you, and they're looking at your woman. If this is supposed to be your woman, they're looking at your woman. And it ain't a woman of mine, of course, but this is looking at this black female acting like a fucking animal. And and they're like, no grace, no honor, no culture, no nothing. And this is and the Indian woman sitting right there, his wife sitting there, yeah, that's right. You know, and you're telling me this is what I have to come back to sit back here and fight and wrestle with to make mine? Are you mad? Are you mad? Are you mad? I'd sooner put a bullet in their fucking head than sit back here and deal with that. For real. Or put a bullet in mine if I had to do it. And if you would force me to do it, either way, I ain't fucking with it. You know?
All right.
So
before you go, let me read out some super chats here. We got $5 from Chief Rocker, Peace MOT. Thanks so much. Let me scroll down to the bottom. Santos Clutch. I think Super Trips already read that one, and that's it so far. All right, go ahead. Hope.
No.
Yeah.
Chris, go ahead. I mean, you know, you were going to say something, so I'm just saying this is how people are looking at you. So I'm just saying, wow, you know, and then people question SYSBM, and you're running into this all the time. And I've had about 4 or 5 little incidences of like this go on over the last year or two, just with random black women, just acting buck crazy, and I'm like, what is this, bruh? It's a real problem. Anyway, Chris, go ahead, man.
It's Hulk. It's Hulk.
Oh, okay, yeah. You were gonna say I did something, so.
No, what you did is the reason she reacted so much because you robbed her of the opportunity to feel justified in being who she is. See, these people are looking for opportunities to show off. They're not even waiting. They don't think about code or ethics or morality. They're just looking for an opportunity to be who they are because they hate when things are done with order and decency because it exposes them. So, you know, it's like even though it could be a misunderstanding on her part, she wanted to sensationalize it so she can just be who she is, an angry, chaotic person. And back to the I agree, there is no debate, just to keep on the topic, but it also what's happening in the so-called community is that people are divesting at such a rate, the responsible, productive people are divesting from such a rate, all that's being left are the degenerates, both men and women, and they have to deal with each other, but all they got. And see, you know, the women want cleanup men, and they're losing them, and the men they were living off the backs of hardworking people, they're losing them. So basically all they have is their raw form. And it's kind of making them, like you said, it is fear, but it's like a panic, a desperation, but they're too stupid to use fear to make them self-improve and learn how to compete and function in society. So what they do is shame.
And fear leads to anger. And
Exactly.
That's a big thing which have.
Real quick,
Yeah,
I want to read another super chat. Can I read another super chat real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we have Dollar Washer with the $5 super chat. Fuck these reptilian peasants. Let the jungle burn. Hashtag SYSBMs up. B1s down.
Cool.
Well, you know, I see a lot of people, they're slamming the B1 network and the B1's here and you know, listen, my thing is, if people want to make a go of it here and say, hey, listen, this is how we want to fix this, I'm all for it. Go ahead. All right. And if you can, go ahead and do it.
Well,
you know,
as a matter of fact,
what methods? But my thing is, by what methods are you going to use, and how is this going to work? And I'd be all ears to hear it. I mean, I'm out dough. Many others are out dough. But how will you?
Well, as a matter of fact, they have actually proposed a method from the B1 network.
Go ahead.
But really quick, I want to read another super chat from Lim Hendricks. The platform is 100 MOT power fist in the air. Thank you, Lim Hendricks, for that $5 super chat. And I just want to actually present this to the panel. Taz, the GOAT of the B1 network, Taz exclusives, proposed implementing standards. Among his standards are,
Shit.
in his words, no Beckys.
Wow.
So I want to get the input from the panel. What do they think about that particular standard proposed by Taz, the GOAT of the B1 network?
Who wants that first?
I mean, I'll go shit because
Hey, can you hear me? Well,
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
hear you.
yeah, can
yeah.
you
We
hear me?
can. You, yeah, Nagone, you went out for a second. That's why Super Trill started talking. You went out abruptly, like completely. But we can hear you now back.
You want me to go ahead and answer that?
Yeah, go ahead, Ty City.
Well, see, I always operated under some level of freedom. I never knew that I was uh, doing some forbidden act by, saying, lusting other races of women. So, I mean, it's too late for me, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can't stop a man from expanding his options, man, and doing what's and going where he's best appreciated and he receives his value. You can't stop a man from doing that.
and this is what I don't understand. There's been a history that led to this type of reprisal approach. They seem to be okay with the behavior that is encroaching, but at the end of the day, they're not okay with us taking things into our own hands. So I think personally, with us responding with the SYSBM movement and lifestyle, that which is a reemergent from all the stuff that I've known, in the military, that it really exposes what type of men who are not okay with men being independent in society. And most of these people, like if you watch Mission Fantastic stream yesterday, most of the guys who say that, oh yeah, I agree with SYSBM, but boom, here come the whole shit. You need to be restricted and following game and all this shit and allow her dysfunction to run the fucking relationship, not your ability to choose shit. Her dysfunction should run the relationship, and you should be subservient to her. And it was like there's a guy on there who couldn't get the simple fact that he didn't he did not know that he was being an unprincipled fuck nigga here, not me for wanting to not deal with this shit. He
Hmm.
told me like as soon as he came on, he immediately said that you must be hurt. I'm serious. After saying that game should run the shit, then he turned around with the you must be hurt and how long has this been since you dealt with this shit? And I'm like, this nigga don't even know what he's talking about. Or saying or 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 even going on record to prove what type of bitch ass nigga he is, right? And so I was like, this is unbelievable. So what I did is I did like a check to make sure this dude brain work function. So I'm like, look, so I gave him a scenario, and he couldn't believe that I would not be okay with another man's resources being caught up in some person taking some shit away from him and feeding somebody else. And he was like, well, you out of line for not allowing it to happen. I'm like, no, brother, you out of line for allowing that shit to happen. And he was looking at me like, why the fuck would I not want this girl to go do this type of shit? I'm like, dude, listen, man, they ain't got dudes like you in other cultures. They ain't got women like that in other cultures. And it's like, they make it seem like fair play and decency amongst men in society is supposed to be some effort that's supposed to be some type of standard that you have to earn from a woman, not her displaying that shit from the first beginning. And I'm like, wow, this shit is fucking crazy.
I mean, you're supposed to accept derelict behavior and say that it's okay. And you're supposed to sit there and suffer with it. If you've been burned from before, get back in there. I mean, what are people telling you? I mean, I see a lot of these young millennials. I see some of them will get married now. A lot of these young folks are marrying out. I've seen that with my friends, my college friends, and all that, whose kids are all now getting married and they're marrying outside of the. And I'm like, damn. I mean, this shit is real. I mean, brothers, young brothers, they are making moves. They are not sticking around for this derelict shit, especially if they're putting their their game together. They're going to school, they're getting educated, they're getting they're getting their propers, if you will. They don't feel obliged to sit back here and have to deal with bullshit. Some of them have met very good young black ladies who get it, who understand what's going on, who get it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're right in line with the game. All right. You can deal with some of these people, but many of these folks you see out here derelict as hell, out here talking crazy. Who is obliged to deal with this? You have an obligation for that? Brothers, tell anybody here in the panel, please tell me why you're obliged. Any brother in the chat, please tell me, why are you obliged to this? Just please explain this to me.
Well, Nagone, you just made a great point because, before I go into that, I want to give a shout out to producer For Real. He just submitted a $7 super chat. He says, "Big ups to MOT. What up, Nagone? Loving this discussion. Who needs the ABW, or should I say BBW, when there's 8 Miguel limos?" Thank you so much for that $7 super chat. Also, so you were mentioning the individuals that that they have actually secured a relationship with a diaspora American black woman, and these women actually get it, and that goes into Mr. Fantastic and Edward Anderson, who, from all accounts, have a penchant for black women, and they actively date American black women. Yet they support SYSBM. To a certain extent, identify with some of the tenets, ideologies, and methodology of the SYSBM lifestyle. So this argument against SYSBM based solely on the fact that these men who associate themselves with SYSBM are consistently dating out is a complete fallacy. Because how can you be SYSBM yet date women who are American black? Obviously, SYSBM is not based solely on dating out. It just retaining that option to choose the best option available to you.
It's save yourself, black man. And if there is a good, that's what we're talking. It's not about
just a friendly reminder.
It's not save yourself, black man, with a white woman or whatever. I mean, this is their argument. It's that shaping tactic. At the end of the day, we know that there's some black women who can be an asset, and I see these brothers who see that and understand that can work with them.
Nagone.
But yet you have many who are very derelict. And you're supposed to fuck with them. I mean, a lot of these women are not even proper girlfriends, let alone wives. And you're supposed to run with these people? I mean, you have to look at it. And then you have no agency. Black man has no agency. But yet they got all the agency in the world, and you're supposed to kowtow to their derelictions? But bruh, that's why you see what's going on. And then you ask these people for answers and fix the problem. They have no way. They have no answer to it. They have no answer for it.
But you know, Nagone,
real quick,
a young man like me coming up.
Real quick, we got a super chat.
Okay.
Smokehouse with the $9.99 super chat says, some of these pro-ethnic folks are going to be butthurt when the 2020 census shows how many men are going SYSBM. Great show. Thanks again for that $10 super chat, Smokehouse.
Yeah.
Crimson Cure. Hold on, Crimson Cure. Red Pill. From everything that I've heard from men, SYSBM is simply no toleration of gynocentric tomfoolery, any kind from anywhere, most especially from our culture. Now, see, this is a prime example of a black woman who actually gets it. So, if you guys have not subscribed to the Crimson Cure, She really has some great dialogue. I personally am subscribed to her channel, and I frequent her channel quite frequently. And so if you haven't subscribed to her channel, please make sure you do so. And thanks again, everybody who's hit that thumbs up on the way in. Go ahead, Ty City.
No, I just wanted to say, a young man like me coming up thinking Brandy was fine, Monica was fine, Whitney Houston was fine, Angelina Jolie was fine, Gwen Stefani was fine, J-Lo was fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just unrealistic, bro. I don't think you could just, you know what I'm saying? Like, just make somebody be with somebody like that. You know what I'm saying?
What I noticed is that they're noticing other people taking notice. And as far as what Taz said about what did he say specifically?
Which part are you talking about?
You
said a couple of things. Are you talking about this? Talking about
the latest, the latest thing we were talking about.
No,
what about the Becky's?
Some of the standards that he
the standards
enacted was pretty much enacted around sewing in the same bullshit that they always fucking wanted. Yeah, so I get that. And it's like these people act on principle whenever possible. We're satisfying everybody else's need, but when it comes to satisfying black men's needs, so that way we don't need to be going nowhere, there ain't crickets, nothing. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. And I do get what you're talking about because most of the stuff just don't really make any sense. Like if you don't treat people with human-based treatment, and they see everybody else being treated good elsewhere, motherfuckers leave. Like, dude, animals do the same shit. Animals have enough sense to fucking get the fuck away from their goddamn owner if their owner ain't feeding them. But somehow, actual fucking human beings are supposed to not follow the same protocol and still be abused somewhat in the same context. Like, I don't understand it. Like, this shit is easily solved with reciprocation. We're not asking for anything much more than just basic humanity on the other side. And to try to hide everything behind fucking game and all that kind of bullshit, it just doesn't make any sense because all the dudes who claim they got game, most of these motherfuckers got broken homes. None of these motherfuckers are married or to their first girl or who they got a kid by. Like none of this other shit. So it's like the SYSBM people who have left this shit alone got a measure of result and detail that they can speak from that has worked. But all of these people with game go through multitudes of motherfuckers of shit that haven't worked. So it's like, how the fuck do we let people monopolize the conversation who ain't got no fucking track record of fucking showing that their philosophy even work outside of empowering the actual people who are fucking them over and us over? Like, I don't understand that.
Well, MOT, this directly correlates to the $4.99 super chat James Sandman has just submitted when he says, you hate yourself, you've been hurt, your mama black, it's the same shaming playbook. Now, let's delve into that just a little bit. Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, the reason why men are going SYSBM is because they've been hurt. Now, wouldn't that actually make sense from a rational standpoint? That somebody has responded to negative stimuli and moved in the opposite direction of said stimulus?
Of course,
right.
But you got to remember, Taz is speaking from the failures playbook, where these people don't have the culture nor the value to leave their communities or go find a better quality women, and they have the hive mindset where they care too much about what the women think about them, and they care too much about what useless people think about them.
Right. So if they can get you to admit that you was hurt by a female, that's what they base their masculinity in. They grandstand over you with that shit.
Yeah. I call it the failures playbook. When you have to, that's only something that somebody who fails at life, who doesn't improve, who doesn't evolve with their surroundings would say.
Right. They putting they putting you in their arena to compete about,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? How how you stand up to women, and how you deal with women, and how much you're willing to put up with, and your ability to put up with it. You know what I'm saying? They pretty much gauging you when they say somebody hurt you. You know, and if
And
you
they're
say yeah,
also
somebody hurt me, if you just go ahead and say yeah, somebody did hurt me, it doesn't. That is, there's no right answer to that.
Well, if in nature, um, it shows even with plants. If something's been hurt before, it's going to be very cautious of where it moves on its own this next move. That's just nature. That's self-preservation. That that's an instinct that has been built into you that before you even human. Let's just say that has been a that's just how that is. So if anybody's telling you to get burned and then run back into a burning house again, I mean, what are they really telling you? I mean, you have to sit down and look at what are they really saying. So if it doesn't make sense, you can't take it that seriously. You as a man, you have to be careful in what you're doing out here. The society and culture, basically how things are, how they are. You can't cry and complain about it. You are going to be responsible for a failed relationship. You're going to be responsible for a failed marriage. You're going to be responsible for this, that. They put the greater responsibility on you and less culpability on women. Less culpability. Even
Mhm.
equal laws, equal rights. No, that's not really the case. That still is where it is. That's how society tends to see. So you have to be more careful. I saw a movie some years ago and it said women and children can be careless, but men cannot. That's a very true statement. This is in a movie, a very famous movie. Some people may know the reference that I'm talking about, but yet this is a fact. Women are still considered almost childlike, even though they say they're equal and so on and so forth. They still are, and you are going to pay the heavy price. So you got to be careful. It's best. A prudent man is a careful man. All right, you're not scared, but you're prudent. If you've been burnt once, you're going to make sure you're not going to get burnt again. Or you'd be smart to make sure that you don't. All right, and you're going to learn from those experiences. If you hit the wall once, you're going to make sure I'm going to make sure I don't make that bad turn again and fall out and get hit. I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen. So there are a lot of things you have to think about, and part of this is what a lot of people they don't want you thinking. They want you just reacting and doing what they're telling you to do. But if you're in a meritocracy, if you're developing and moving forward and gaining a lot of things through merit, through development, you're not going to be quick to lose that. Others who may not have gotten it that way may see things a little bit differently, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
Well, BA, he's not going to make the same mistake. BA with the $10 super chat is not going to run back in that burning building because he says, "Yes, I hate myself. I hate myself for not taking corrective action sooner. I should have been left the plantation and the reptiles." Now,
Hmm.
some of y'all may not
Trez,
have
you
been
good,
paying
bro.
attention earlier.
You good, Trez.
And some of you may have not have been paying attention earlier during the stream, but someone who is well, hold on for a sec. Before we go even further, we have Harambe with the $3.99 super chat. Says, "I wish I would have moved on a long time ago." SYSBM. Thank you, Harambe, with that $3.99 super chat. Now, somebody who and I don't want to butcher his name, but he was referred to by various panel members and people within the actual live chat as the OG. It was on O'Shea's stream, and he mentioned that a lot of the quote unquote SYSBM behavior is only due in part to certain liberties afforded to us by men of the greater populace. Furthermore, he suggested that there was an agenda pushing quote unquote thinking black men into the clutches of the blonde hair and blue eyed devil. Now, I'm not sure what to think about that, but I'm curious what the panel members think about his assertions.
It's more
BS.
boogeyman talk, man.
Straight BS, man. Just, you know, people can't be honest about what's going on, and you have to reject a lot of evidence and a lot of truth to be that stupid. Nobody wants to deal with a mess. Nobody wants to deal with chaos and confusion. And it's really sad that we have to sit here and even defend common sense. You know, this whole, you know, the other side about let's deal with this. It's just stupid, man. I yield my position because I just can't make sense of it no more.
Well, it's
No, I
nothing to
mean,
make
but y'all,
sense of. You're not supposed to make sense of. It's a boogeyman. It doesn't exist.
Yeah,
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 like most of this stuff, like if these people use like half of their or even a quarter percent of the power to actually fix the goddamn problem versus trying to shut down all criticisms of the problem, we would be somewhere far different than we are now. I mean,
yeah.
if you look around, these people who are perpetuating this bullshit across the culture, I'm talking about the men. Like I don't blame the women. I've never blamed the women. I blame the women for the shit that they do. But there's too many male hands pushing this shit at this point
Yep,
to
exactly.
even think that it's just the women alone. The women are just the beneficiaries. You know, it's kind of like this. If a child was given a choice between chocolate pudding and fucking broccoli as meals, you 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 wouldn't you wouldn't think that parent loved that child if it kept feeding the child chocolate pudding until that motherfucker became like 300 pounds, overweight, diabetes, like fucking high blood pressure and shit, right? But at the end of the day, you are supposed to sit back and let this shit happen as if you don't know what the correct choice is on average. And it's like these dudes act like we don't understand what this shit is in moderation or anything else. So it's like they're here to protect dysfunction rather than order, and they're like proud of that shit. They're they're like proud to come out and be like the latest log on like the bonfire of this bullshit and be like, yeah, she's gonna be free forever, nigga. What you gonna do about it, son? Like this is how these motherfuckers act, and it's like at some point it's not the fucking women.
Well,
If the men ain't being called out from this shit, then wow. I mean, it's just amazing how many men who think that they're actually more man than the next motherfucker by like, yeah, I like unprincipled, derelict fucking behavior, and you should put up with it as a fucking man. Like, I don't get that shit, man.
Well, yeah,
I just
it's
don't.
I have a higher tolerance than you.
but they also lowered the standards because it's their way of getting the women, excusing their bad behavior and kind of allowing them to be not held accountable, and they'll use that as some kind of dating mating ritual where they think they can get the favor of more degenerate women just by lowering their standards.
Yeah, and it's like they sit here and they just lord over you with that shit, and they're like, okay, I no longer want this shit. Period. Whoa, 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 whoa. Party foul. What the fuck you mean you don't want to fuck with this shit no more? And it's like, damn, nigga. Like, so you want me to choose to not engage in this shit, and then the moment to where I want to engage on my level, I don't get to do that either. So it's like you have a bunch of hoe ass motherfuckers out here who operate in that like they think they so fucking slick, but they're acting like straight bitches when cornered, man. They always act like straight bitches. Like, dude, how can you gain the respect of something and not act like what the something is that you have the respect of? These people actually think that they're fucking principled by fucking acting this way when they act more fucking effeminate than it is the fucking feminine of the fucking women, and they act more emasculated than it is masculine than the fucking women are fucking portraying. And then they make it look like they're the principal motherfuckers among us by displaying this bullshit fucking behavior. It's
Well,
insane, dude.
the Crimson Cure, aka Kendra D, makes a great point, and she says that this is why I say the Maggle is worse than a Strag. What little masculinity he has, he uses it to power and uphold the Strag, willing attack dog and slave. Now, funny she mentions that because on this previous stream that I referenced, because we are attacking some of these quote unquote talking points. This particular person on the stream, who was backed by others, denounced the quote unquote buttermilk colored, beige colored, Belgian waffle colored Negro, who is the product of the conception between a black and non black person. In other words, denouncing mixed breed individuals. For a lot of the men who are pursuing the quote unquote SYSBM lifestyle, who choose to have children with non-Black women, as is their right, are we to not consider their children as Black? What say you, the panel?
Man, you know what that's about, man. that colorism stuff exists on one side, bro. You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen any real. I mean, you have men saying don't be with white women, don't be with this person, but now that's kind of bleeding into the colorism stuff. You know what I'm saying? We calling people buttermilk and whatnot. It's like, it's getting kind of shaky right there, bro. That's some female shit. You know what I'm saying? Taking on the talking points of females at that point.
Yeah, I agree.
I keep maintaining the point. Is there any debate here, fellas? I'm not seeing it.
No, it's not, man. It's not the goal, but it's just like I've you know what I'm saying? It's never. We grew up with light skinned Black guys, mixed guys. They Black. They just light skinned. You know what I'm saying? Now it's one of those things where, you know, women feel a certain kind of way, you know, about it, and they never did. They never did before. I never seen women complain about light skinned guys.
I'm starting to think these people are jealous of white people, man.
I just want to say this very quickly. Let them complain. It's good. Fear is good. And I know fear is going to lead to anger and these kind of things. Fear is good. Because they should be terrified and angry about what's going on because of derelict behavior. Maybe they've gone the wrong way. Maybe some of these others who have understood what's going on are operating more properly.
Exactly, Nagone. And that's why I say freedom for everybody. You're free to do what the fuck you've been doing. Nobody's stopping you. Why are you over here with these goofy ass talking points trying to talk people away from the exit door? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can stay.
Well, here's my question.
Like I said, I'm saying is there's no real debate here. If they're afraid, fair enough. People are angry, fair enough. The game is on. There's nothing to stop it. Nothing. So now, since it's on, it's terribly on. You can't stop it. What are you going to do to try to make the situation better? And that's just about where. See, I'm dealing in realities. This is where we're at. What you going to do at this stage of the game? All this yelling and screaming ain't going to happen. You got these other young cats who are going SYSBM and saying that they got 2,000 people in the chat room, 100, 200, 300 people in the chat room. You know, these other guys who are talking against you or not. What you going to do? This is where you're at right now. It's like the alligator. The alligator come up out of the water. His snout and his eyes are looking on you. Now you're face to face with that. He ain't gonna go down and negotiate with you. He getting ready to snap you up. What you gonna do? So what's up? That's where you're at in this right now. I'm not here to debate this. That's why I'm not on these panels debate. There's no debate. This is where we're at. What are you gonna do to turn this thing around in a way that you feel is the right way? I'm talking to those who are the detractors. What you gonna do? Because what you're doing right now is not gonna work. So what you gonna do that's gonna work?
Yeah. The problem is, man, we just need to become the Sinestro core. We put on these yellow fucking rings and just feed off all this fucking fear from these niggas, man. Fuck them. Like, don't worry about it. Don't fucking worry about it. These motherfuckers are red lanterns. They feed off the fucking rage of the AB dub and just let them fucking do what they do. But at the end of the day, they ain't got no motherfucking power, man. Because if they had power, they would fucking walk away. The whole simple fact that they can't walk away and the only thing they're doing is fucking endless fucking caping, it shows the lack of power that they have.
It's funny.
It's fucking silly.
It's the best entertainment. Whenever you hear people say interracial dating is going up with homosexuality, they must be correlated. Bro, it's hilarious. It's funny. You have nothing. Is that your final answer?
Well, you know what? Before we go into that, because that is I'm glad you brought that up, Ty City. That that false correlation. And let's just say, for instance, there was a correlation. Correlation, for those of us that are in the scientific world, correlation does not prove causation. But at any rate, let's talk a little bit more about this whole colorism aspect. Now, the assertion that the new standard, according to the B1 network, is no Becky's, right? So essentially denouncing not only the quote unquote Becky, but the products that may be had from a Becky or the male contemporary, I guess the Brad or Chad, whatever you want to call them. With that being said, when we look at what blackness is in the American context, being black in America, as far as ADOS or FBA, whatever affiliation you choose to align yourself with, you essentially are the product of a Becky. You essentially are a product of a Chad or Brad. At some point in your timeline, there is somebody who is not of African or Negroid descent. This is essentially what has happened over the years, and this is the reason why we have a distinct difference in appearance than some of our brethren across the water. Some of us are fairly light-skinned. Some have different texture hair. Some have different facial features. So if you actually do a genealogical assay, ASSAY, or using some of the popular 23andMe or whatever type of DNA test that you want to use, you would find that you're not 100% black or Negro. So my challenge is to individuals who use the talking points against mixed race or interracial unions to prove your lineage. Take a genetic test and read your results live on the air and substantiate your claims to blackness while you denounce the claims of others just because they happen to be mixed.
As for trends, I already got one of these reports in, and the genealogical essay say 100% fuck nigga. Boom. 100%.
Yeah, it's an app for that.
0% reason. 0% reason. 100% fuck nigga.
True words, man. True words.
Oh, man. That's just one of those things, man, where, you know, whenever you set off in a direction, whatever makes you happy as a black man is what you should do. No matter what color your child is, it's your child. You know what I'm saying? No matter what you do, what your endeavors are, like you have to be happy with it, man. Don't let people like try to steer you away from it, dog.
See, we
That's
speaking logic.
that's the part that bugs them, is that you can have a mixed race child and love it just the same. You're supposed to feel some kind of way about it.
Yeah. I mean, but to them, their so-called love and respect is supposed to be kind of given on an ad hoc basis based on all the stupid shit that you got to compromise in order to get these people respect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they can't come at you as an equal individual and you treat them with the same amount of respect. They got this kind of hedge maze labyrinth of bullshit that they want you to follow, so that way they can treat you as quote unquote one of them. Even though one of them means that you are far fucking beneath them after you get done with all this shit, you know, but that's where we at, man. Like, dude, any culture starts with the ideas that are practiced by people, not skin color of the fucking people. So what these people are doing is they're trying to protect their gains by all the kids that they had that they shouldn't, by trying to get you to worship skin color and not to get you to fucking understand that the input and the output matters, not skin color alone. Because
Well,
all these
MOT,
kids are, yeah, right.
my son is darker than a lot of these pro-black people, and his mother's 100% Russian.
But see, here's the problem, Ty City and MOT. Once you establish, you said MOT, you said this is where we at. But let me tell you why that doesn't matter. Because all they're gonna do is they're just gonna move the goalposts. They're gonna find some other standard as to why you're not black enough, why your relationship is invalid, why your children can't be part of the community.
I was going to say that about the DNA test because they moving that goalpost right now.
Explain. Oh, before we go there, we have a $5 super chat from Simon Landreth. Nyla is a mutt by the old white supremacy definition.
Oh man.
Well, anyway, Rael, Turbattle, Rael, yep, we can ride over them by avoiding the state and community property. Thank you guys for those super chats. Please make not putting in super chats. Likes are free.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ty City.
Nah, yeah, they moving that DNA goalpost now. So I seen that going on. I don't know how motherfuckers gonna be able to prove blackness. I got out like people who
slow it down, Ty City. We got it. No, you got to go back. You just said they're moving the DNA goalpost. I need you to explain how they're doing that because
DNA
the
specific science.
The question is the credibility of DNA now.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
I just want to ask you guys, what difference does it make if these guys are trying to move the DNA goalpost? What the fuck difference does that make? What are we talking about? DNA?
Well, the precious reparations is up. That's what's going on, Nagone. So yeah.
Listen,
but okay, but so explain how are they trying to move the goalpost, Ty?
They questioning the credibility of it.
Oh, so they're saying that the DNA tests are not accurate.
No.
Yeah, I'm dead ass serious.
Because the white man did it.
You are the goalpost. All right, you're the goalpost.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but that's what I'm saying. They don't like that shit, Nagone.
So at the end of the day, you're the goalpost. You plan to go. You determine what thing. Okay, you determine. You can't determine. Disgruntled.
We out of field goal range now, Nagone.
Do not set the goalpost. They don't set it. You do.
Yeah, but how many tats you got on your face?
They do.
We out of field goal range.
You have to think along those terms. Once again, there's no debate here. I just keep on. There is no debate in this. There is no debate. Folks can argue and fight this all day long, but at the end of the day, what does it all mean? They moving the goalposts. So what?
Well,
but at the end of the day,
what goalposts are they moving?
It's kind of like this. At some point, you got to be known by the enemies that you fucking have. And if this is the best they fucking got, man, moving the goalposts on fucking DNA, I mean, like, dude, we're just kicking the extra point, man. There ain't no 95-yard fucking extra point, man. Like, this is what these niggas trying to pull, man. Like, what the fuck is happening there? Like, I don't get this shit. But at the end of the day, you have to be able to call this shit out and mock and humiliate the fuck out of this shit. That's all I'm saying. It's ridiculous.
It's funny because that's a good way to put it. Is we moving the goalposts because one of us can have a biracial child just be like, oh, he's black. They fucking head gonna explode.
These people are a paradox, man. You got somebody calling himself the GOAT, but then saying they're oppressed. You can't win with these people. You don't even try.
Well, you know what? You know what I would like, Hulk?
What's up?
I would like because if you're pro-black or you're black first or whatever type of black empowerment group you align yourself with, we have yet to hear a definitive explanation of what black is. Is black based on genetics? Because if it's based on genetics, that can be substantiated through science. And I have yet to see anybody prove their blackness through science. Okay, so maybe it's based on culture. Well, what culture? What part of
Right.
black culture makes you black?
Well, how do you quantify culture?
I mean, but I can quantify their culture. It's
Well,
very
well,
easy.
well, it's not culture, MOT. Well, see, well, first of all, let's define. Well, you know what? I'm gonna look up culture while you guys talk, so we can make sure we
Yeah,
get
yeah.
things clear.
Like I said, man, all you gotta do is look at them, ask them to smile, and you see like a mouthful of serrated fucking canines. That's their fucking culture.
Oh, here we go. MOT, you gonna like this definition. MOT, you ready?
Yeah.
Culture: the arts and other manifestations of human intellectual achievement regarded
Uh,
collectively.
No culture.
So,
No
so, so,
culture.
so we see, culture. You hear it right there. The customs, arts, social institutions, and achievements of a particular nation, people, or other social group.
are you sure
You
bow
see,
down to bitches ain't like the second definition or the third definition?
I don't see bad on the bitches. I don't see niggatry. I don't.
Uh,
What
what's the
about game?
validity of this book to which you read?
You see anything about game?
Let me see. Let me see if I can see anything about game. No,
Damn.
I don't see swag in there. Let me see. I don't see swag. Nope.
All right, man. So let's go through some of this dumbass fucking pushbacks that we've been receiving so far. I got this in a couple of categories. So let's go with the most obvious one, since we on the DNA question, is one of the great pushbacks that we have is you're genetically breeding out the race. Now, it's amazing that the people who point this shit out was fully okay with crack mothers having babies and not saying shit, fuck niggas having babies and not saying shit. But the fact that we're just exercising free choice with a reasonable human counterpart, whether she is part of the culture or not, because that's why SBM is not a dating out movement. It's a dealing with the most reasonable person that you fucking can to try to
Hmm.
repopulate this shit movement. So this criticism that we're breeding out the race, I think they're right. They don't want reasonable motherfuckers around. They like shit the way that it fucking is. Because they have relevance amongst this broken way that the shit currently is. So when they say the criticism that you're breeding out the race, what they're actually saying is you're removing their relevance by exercising free choice. So what do y'all think about that statement that they think that we're breeding out the fucking race or whatever that goofy shit is by
The
actually just
degenerates.
exercising?
Yeah,
Yeah,
de-
yeah.
definitely. I say get rid of them. Let's get rid of them.
I got a thing about this abortion rate. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I think with the millions upon millions of abortions that happen, we will probably be triple our population right now. So I mean, when it comes to us breeding for survival, I don't think I think that's disingenuous.
Any race that holds on to the worst of themselves and don't correct them is doomed to fail anyway. It's a survival mechanism to correct and weed out the the useless parts. That's all. That's all. Actually, nature does that. We're just helping.
Well,
Well, yeah, that's what I'm
here's the
saying though.
problem.
Nobody cares about the race and the breed and all the rest of this shit until it's your decision. You know what I'm saying? When it's the other way around, it's an option to care.
Well, here's the problem. Spiritual logic, aka Hulk. The system of checks and balances imposed by nature has been subverted uh, by human activity, and
Yeah.
and, and and
Welfare
and this is,
system.
excuse me.
It's that welfare.
Yeah, well, we have to get. See, here's the problem: is that as a society, you have to come to the realization that everybody can't be saved. And unless you're able to make tough decisions, this is the reason why you have the electoral college, because certain constituency of the population, um, referred to often as the elites, don't believe the general populace has the capacity to make sound decisions. Because if they felt that there was an ability to make sound decisions by the general populace, it would be a vote by vote basis as opposed to electoral college. Because people can't make tough decisions, because what happens is that somebody is always compromised by their current situation. So when it comes to making tough decisions regarding women, then you always have somebody who has daughters, and therefore they're compromised. When it comes to making decisions about black women, then you have somebody who refers to their black mother, or they think of their black
Mm-hmm.
sister. And because of that, they project that imagery onto all women, as opposed to saying, well, black women as a whole have proven to be problematic. We need input out of the equation and make decisions that benefit us as men, and the women that are on code will follow. But a lot of men can't get to that point because they're so caught up from an emotional standpoint and not wanting to leave people behind.
I
Yeah, I mean,
agree. I
but
mean,
once they closed on what they did close on, they left other people behind. This is what I don't get. It's kind of like the stagnant moved ahead, and then they destroyed everything. And then the moment you make any progress, they call that traitorous behavior. But they exercise traitorous behavior to fucking get to where they got in the first place. So all this shit is just an absence of logic, and all we're doing is just proving to go on right with the title. There ain't no motherfucking debate. No fucking debate. You know what I'm saying? The
that's
eagle
why they
has
have to
left the
lie,
fucking
man.
Debate.
building.
There
None.
is no debate. I keep saying I ain't hopping on all these panels running around arguing and getting reptilian arguments with this. We see this. You have people who are in a culture where they have zero accountability. Zero. You got fuck shit going down all day long, and you're supposed to expect this to be all good. You have brothers who were coming up in the middle of this who were really trying to do some different things, and they're looking at this shit as totally aberrant, crazy, and saying, I want out. And you're looking at that, and now you're starting to see a growing class of other brothers coming up, getting out of this shit. I got a brother who I just, a young cat. I just, he graduated out of a nice program with the CDL, and he's working. He's driving cross country. He's making dough right now, and he's trying to cut a derelict female that's all over him right now loose. He's 28 years old. He's trying to cut that loose, trying to take that kid for himself, and cutting this loose. And she fighting him like a savage. And she knows what this guy's getting ready to do. I mean, gentlemen, you're laughing, but in all seriousness, this woman is coming after him with with barbs, man. And I mean, real barb. I mean, barb everything, barb knives, barbed wire, everything. And she knows that this dude is out. He's out. He's like, nah, I ain't going back to this. And this is what you've got going on all in a lot of places. Who's going to account for that? Because he doesn't want to deal with dereliction. He's ultimately looked at himself and say, "Hey, listen, I got a certain value. I've got a better value right now, even to my own child, and I see you as a fucking liability at this." And these are young cats. These are not old niggas. These are young dudes, young cats, 30 years my junior, and they're sitting up in here making hardcore moves, and I'm helping them. I'm helping them, but at the end of the day, these are decisions that they're making. And you're sitting back here saying, okay, you're supposed to accept ill shit going on. It's just, fellas, I don't even know what more to say. What I keep saying is, there is no debate to this. There really isn't. The fuck niggas and the other people who are getting upset about you stepping off and you doing whatever, let them be angry. There's not. What can you do? There's gonna be a reaction. What do you expect? Let me sit here and love you about the fact that you're stepping out and saying, listen, I got no time for this bullshit. You expect them to sit back here and love you for that? No. They're going to be angry over it. They're going to be mad about it. You think these women are going to be glad about you cutting them off and stepping out? saying I'm out of here. 30% of your brothers who are getting educated and getting are making different types of moves because the women in your culture, the majority of them are not operating at a level that's acceptable to a civilized man. And you're supposed to sit here and say this is fine. And you said I'm out, though. But now all of a sudden you got to be shameful. No, that's not gonna happen. That's just how it is. If they're upset, so what? They're gonna be mad. Nothing you can do about it. Just stay on your point. They can't stop you. No one can. So just move on. You think I'm gonna have my son run behind derelict shit and say, son, go ahead, run behind this dereliction? No, I'm trying to make things to any other. My grandson as well. You gonna have your son do this? Are you gonna have your daughter run behind derelict shit too?
Nah,
none of us are gonna do that. So this is supposed to be acceptable? No, it isn't. My son, oh no, he thinks like the old man. No, he ain't doing it. Okay, his friends aren't. My nephews and they ain't doing it. So that's how the game is being played. There's nothing else to be said. Why? I'm a father. I'm a man in a position that can influence other men to do the right thing. That's exactly what I'm doing. And ain't nobody can stop me from doing that either. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at. Debate? The fuck y'all talking about? Debate. Keep moving. That's the name of the game. Cut these motherfuckers back to the fat meat.
Fat
Don't
meat.
look back. And just keep it moving. All right? Keep it moving. I'll be 60 years old in 2 years. All right? You think I'm gonna be sitting here in my 60s worrying about oh son, don't marry these, get with this derelict woman and marry this 28-year-old with 3 kids and she gonna treat you like she been jumping. What? What? Grandson. Nah, grandpa. You don't need to be buying me the Jordans. I don't need all that. Help me up with a computer. I'm going to school. I'm doing this. I don't need no Jordans. Oh, you Z boy.
Right.
You understand. This is the game we're playing.
Super chat.
There's no debate. Sorry, guys.
True words.
Yeah. All right.
This is it, man. No debate.
All right. 999 super chat from Mental Alchemist. That maybe consider a doctor. I've been in a study and your 1 in 4 trillion chance of being alive as a reason to always exercise free choice. You're just way too lucky to even be here to care about WABT. Correct. And what these dudes have done, it's kind of like the baptismal ceremony in most religions. These motherfuckers have baptized themselves twice. They baptize themselves in WABT, what a bitch thinks, and then they turn around and baptize themselves in WABD, what a bitch does. Like you can't fuck with religious fucking derelicts. Religious fucking. This is a religion to them. This is a lifestyle.
Yeah, it is.
And you're dealing with fuck nigga extremists. You know what I'm saying? You can't motherfucking deal with niggas who don't comport with fucking reality. And it's like, dude, I mean, the fuck nigga, it's called the fuck nigga philosophy. Like, why would I want to follow that? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, they're trying to explain to you the benefits, and they show you pictures of soiled pants and shitty diapers, and it's like, what the fuck is this? What is this? How'd you get involved in this? And it's like, you're trying to find a way to shut the door on the Jehovah's Witnesses who's knocked on your fucking door with as little fucking interaction as possible. Because you don't want to shut it too fast. Or else, then it'd be like the old ladies on Friday, you know what I'm saying? On the other side of the door. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, look, you have to look at these people like a different race of people. You have to look at these people like Cro-Magnon man or fucking far worse than that. You have to start looking at these motherfuckers as less than human. Because they're trying to get you to engage in less than human activity to reason with them overall. And this is some shit that we just can't be fucking doing.
I like your term reptiles.
Yeah, and I mean, look, even reptiles have brains, and they do shit other than fight, fuck, and fucking run around. You know what I'm saying? And not all of them have like serrated fucking canines in their mouth and shit. But at the end of the day, you're dealing with a certain specific type of motherfucking human being to the point to where it's very bad to even be trying to rationalize with these motherfuckers. This is why I'm putting out the word that the people who don't like SYSBM are the same people who were never okay with male leadership in the first place. Men nor women. Period. You have to look at it as that. These were the people who knew damn well that they had nothing to offer to the fucking world. So they decided to make the whole world look like them. I'm not sure what the opposite of genocide is when you over procreate, but that's what the fuck happened. We need a word for it. But
Yeah.
they have made their numbers so great and so fucking vast that we can't really do shit about it. Like no reasonable human being goes and plants forest of fucking poison ivy. Like the government would immediately come in and be like, "What in the fuck are you doing?" What
Burn it
individual
down.
would go? Yes, that's exactly what would
Operation
happen.
Farmhand.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, sir, you realize poison ivy is not meant to be grown. It's definitely not meant to be a fucking forest of any kind. It's poison. I mean, so you're dealing with living, breathing, walking yucca mountains. That's what you're dealing with. Places for fucking nuclear fucking waste. This is what we're dealing with. These are the people who think that they know better about child development than the outcome and the statistics of child development. And they're intent on keeping this shit up forever. So they don't even realize that through the looking glass, they are much more of the white supremacists that they complain about than the motherfuckers wearing the robe. The dude hung up the robe in like the 60s. This motherfucker looked around and like, these niggas are doing a great job. We can retire. We can fucking retire in relative peace that these niggas are going to do a better job than we ever could in a white robe in this justice system. It's crazy. But I'm just saying that it is highly incumbent on everybody to make sure that you do mental checks on these motherfuckers before fucking with them. Because at the end of the day, they ain't gonna do nothing but try to tank what's ever there. And we can't allow these motherfuckers to even be here. So what I'm
Exactly.
saying is it's just whenever they talk stupid shit, just refute all their points. So that way they can't keep growing this shit in the fucking mist. You can be like, okay, all these points are discredited. There's really no fucking debate here. Because look, they'll come up with another fucking dumbass reason for doing the same stupid shit that they're doing. It's just that this is what they've closed on this far in the process. And you have to realize that by not answering this shit as quickly as they say it or print it is the reason why we're here now. Children in school should be like, you know what? M&M, Skittles, fuck niggas. Don't eat that. That's how clearly it should be. That children should be like, look, no. I'm not sure what else to do, man. But at the end of the day, you're gonna be surrounded by children of people who fucking think like this, and I'm not sure what the fuck to do.
What we doing, man? Just keep standing up to it, calling it out, warning other people, and keep it moving.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the early warning and detection system for like a tornado. There's a very clear sign that you're in fucking trouble if you hear that goddamn horn going off, right? This is you have to treat these niggas like walking tornado claxons whenever they fucking talk. walking tornado claxons. And it's like, it's very crazy that we have to come to this point to where you have to stop all interaction with these type of people. But at the end of the day, you have to breed these motherfuckers out. You have to actively breed these motherfuckers out. You have to give them what they are afraid of. Whatever it is they're afraid of, that's what you have to start practicing. If they're afraid of XYZ, it's probably the likelihood that you need to start practicing that. Because these motherfuckers gotta go.
You
And
know
you
what's
need
int-
to make sure that their numbers don't fucking rise anymore. But go ahead, Hope.
you know what's interesting? Like you said, the tornado analogy. They're both the tornadoes and the victims. It's like they tear down their own thing and then they cry victim because of what they did. And that's why I'm not buying this whole systematic oppression thing because as you know, these people knowingly justify and defend their behavior, aware of it when it's called out. So they're knowing about this. They don't, we give them stats, we give them empirical data, and they just laugh. So
No, I mean, Hope, but you're trying to play, play chess with a fucking pigeon. You know, the pieces are set up on the fucking board, and next thing you know, this fucking white ass bird is shitting all over the fucking board and tipping over the fucking pieces. Like, why the fuck did I just set this game up? I can't even reason with this fucking bird. And the moment you fucking say something, the bird fucking flies away. Like, why the fuck did I just set this appointment, waste this time, set these pieces up? Why am I cleaning this shit off the board? Why am I doing this? So at the end of the day, anything you could do to maintain a level of happiness in society is the right fucking thing rather than fucking with these goddamn people, man. Because the
facts.
people who are complaining about loyalty are the most disloyal motherfuckers there are, man. That's the irony
That
of this
sums it up
shit.
right there. That sums it up right there.
They're trying to make their dishonesty seem more honest. How the fuck are we here? How? Shit is just crazy, man. But go ahead.
I just want to, I'm about to hop off, but I just want to say thank you, MOT, Super Triz, Ty City, and Nagone for the show. Was great. Man, this is what's needed. Refreshing to call out this BS and shut down and say there's no debate. So I'm gonna head out. So y'all have a good one, man.
All right, cool.
All right,
All right,
bro.
man. Let me head through the rest of these ridiculous talking points.
All right.
All right, later, Hope. All right, man. Well, here's the next one that I don't really get. I got daughters, so you can't be SYSBM when I got a daughter. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Don't you think that your child should be surrounded by more reasonable options than human beings rather than worried about what other men are fucking doing? So everybody should hold down their choices because you got a fucking daughter. So that means we should be able to handle her possibly going through the stragometer, and we should always keep her in mind when trying to find a mate. Like I don't get this shit when people come up with this criticism that they got kids, you can't leave. Like, come on, man. What do y'all think about that specific dumbass fucking criticism?
Well, that popped up on another panel when somebody said that pumping and dumping is creating the same women that you complain about, but yeah, solid good women, they not getting pumped and dumped. So I mean, I don't know where they getting that from. And yeah, your daughter is a product of your parenting.
Yeah, but this person tried to make it look like the parenting still don't matter. She could still end up getting pumped and dumped anyway. So I had to be like, fuck your daughter. That's pretty much how I had to tell
Yeah,
him. And he was like, it kind of, what I'm saying, dusted the fucking at least part of partial control of the common sense structure of his fucking framework inside his head that I don't have to give a fuck about your child. That's your child. And if you don't raise your child properly and correctly, I'm not sure how in the fuck that is everybody else's problem to put up with your child, even if they go astray, that we're to provide options for your child no matter what. That's the type of stupid shit that doesn't make any sense. It's
Right.
just
And
crazy.
see, here's the other side is what about the sons? So
No,
raising
no,
a son to be a
no
hoodlum is
concentration on the son. No
yeah,
concentration on the
raising
son
your
because they
son to
don't
be a
matter.
hoodlum is just as bad, but nobody cares.
But here's the other thing. I've never heard anybody, man or woman, come out and say, I don't want my son being raised around bitches like that. I've never heard of it. Never fucking heard of it. From none of these motherfuckers. I've never heard of it. Have you ever heard of
Yeah, I haven't. Damn, I haven't.
it?
Yeah,
so
I
it's like
haven't.
so it's like all the concern is about the woman getting the best deal possible, but fuck the boys along the same line.
Yeah, man, I haven't. No, I haven't.
Damn,
Yeah.
that's crazy, man.
No, but I mean, the other side of this stuff is nobody is trying to change anybody else's mind. Like it's only a one-way street. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
free choice. It's free
That,
choice.
but that's what this whole thing about is total freedom. It's like, okay, look, you don't like the SYSBM lifestyle, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? I don't like your lifestyle, but I don't care what you do. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the difference. I heard one of the guys was saying they want some kind of parade or they want us to be sad that they leave. It's like nobody's even talking to y'all.
Yeah, it's kind of like this, right? I've never seen a human being buy three musketeers or mounds. You know they're in the stores. You know they're being stocked. But you're buying some other type of candy bar, and these niggas be like, "What about the mounds and three musketeers, though?" And it's like, well, I don't want to buy shit that ain't got no fucking ingredients in it. But these niggas be like, "Nah, man, that's the good shit right there." I'm like, "Well, if it's so good, how come you're not eating it?" "Well, that ain't for me. That's for you." I'm
Yep.
like, "What? What the fuck? What the fuck is wrong?"
Yep.
And it's like all of this shit can be solved with personal responsibility. But for some reason, these people escape personal responsibility to concentrate on everything else in the fucking universe but personal responsibility and a
Yep.
track record. It's like you're supposed to engage with this person with a level of honor and dignity while this motherfucker act however the fuck they want to.
I mean, it's a whole nother paradigm that's going to happen too because I feel like you know me, even outside of this dating realm, you know what I'm saying? Some of these children gonna be damaged. They're gonna be trying to save themselves from their parents.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh, I think the question comes down is they these folks can go crazy, go ham any which way they want, do whatever, however they operate in which way they want to, when you're supposed to deal with that. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, I mean because they're finished. That's obvious. But we need to figure out a way of reaching these fucking kids who are in these clutches of these crazy motherfuckers. So that way they ain't so fucking finished by the time they get 18. Because we can't keep raising kids with a fourth grade fucking reading range in the information age. The motherfuckers gonna be so far behind that I'm not even sure how the fuck you're gonna be able to save them. So we gotta try to be able to do
Yep.
something or come up with something for these fucking kids. Because the adults are fucking finished. You know, you ain't gonna be able to change the minds of
Well,
those
if all
motherfuckers.
these no, if all these folks are talking about saving the community and all, what about improving your educational infrastructure and all these types of moves that you have to do? So these folks or these kids you saying that you really want to save and deal with, or you want to really, you're supposed to be responsible for your community, where are these folks in helping to develop these institutions better? Where are they helping to increase this? I don't see any of this going on. I do see a lot of blame, and those who are making other moves to get their kids out and do better and so forth. But yet, derelict stuff that's going on, and these derelict moms running around and all this, not doing or playing the role that they should be playing. Are not out here doing much help to enhance a lot of these issues. I see them put a lot of blame on a lot of others. When we've always talked about charity starts at home and all these kind of things. I don't see a lot of this going on, or I don't see as much of it going on. But I see us being blamed for fair enough. But at the end of the day, where's their culpability in this? What role are they playing? And I don't hear a lot of that being spoken about. I just hear a lot of blame being put on us, a lot of blame being put on how would I say the educated lames, if you will, and the brothers who are making them runs out, and I see these people who have no merit, who are not running a meritocracy, sit there do a lot of complaining about what you should be doing. I just stay here and save this.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
just don't
like
see a
that's
lot of
what I don't get.
I don't see a lot of people who are smart today and who are thinking clearly, going for that. They're looking at other things, and some are even creating their own communities. So I don't see a lot of that. So some folks are going to take a hard look at themselves in the mirror and say, what are we going to do to help this issue out as well? You could say, well, if you run with a white woman, you're you're a fag, or you're this or you're that. They can talk all kind of craziness, man, but I don't see them really adding to the bottom line on this problem, or I mean, adding to the bottom line on the solution, if you will. I don't see a lot of that going down. I mean, that's just part of my own criticism. So,
Yeah,
I'm in the community. I'm doing the tutoring and stuff. We see where this is going on, and I see where you have conscientious folks, parents and others stepping to the plate, bring their kids around, and a lot of others are just not getting that kind of attention. And I see a lot of stuff happening at home, and where are these women talking to these other women about Junior not being able to read? What's going on with that? I mean,
with the most educated women. I
I'm just,
mean, apparently, you can
I'm
have
just not,
both of those fucking
I'm just,
stats at the same time.
you know,
Yeah,
um,
but that's
I
what I
mean,
got going.
I mean, for people making their own moves to save themselves and to save those around them who they feel are worth saving. I see why this is happening. And other people have to take a hardcore look in the mirror as well. And this is part of our issue.
Yeah, it's kind of like if we solve this problem at any point in history since like the rise of feminism, dude, we wouldn't be here right now. There would be no need for any other nationality to have come here. Like the Latinos wouldn't even be able to come in this motherfucker if we would have had our shit straight. We was politically fucking connected. We would have typically been the quote unquote bottom, but we could have stopped all these other motherfuckers from coming in this bitch and taking our fucking spot if we would have participated in the first beginning like we fucking was supposed to. And so now we're stuck in this industrial age baby making fucking farm bullshit when we're not even turning these kids into something. So now you got so many people in fucking disrepair, and all these dudes can do is sit around and try to talk about game and selling you access back to the same motherfuckers who never fucking showed any level of care in the first place. And it's like, don't you motherfuckers want to be surrounded by better fucking people at some point? Like it don't make any fucking sense.
Uh, like I said, as far as this whole debate is concerned on this and all of this, I'm about done with this for this year. I'm not. You're not going
Oh
to hear
no,
me
we're we're
speak on
we're,
this.
we're I mean, we're in the
but
first week,
much
and,
more.
and and I'm done with this shit. Yeah, same here.
Yeah. I'm done with it. I'm out though. This is it. As far as working with these young brothers, mentorships, really, getting brothers on game about, how to, get their careers better, getting their lives better. Let's really talk about being advocates for brothers. This is what the original Manosphere was really all about. I'm going to stick strictly to that. And that's pretty much about it. Derelict women and all that are not a part of the game. They're out. Folks want to sit here and argue and call each other names and act crazy. Go ahead. Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy shit house rats to be called up in this bullshit. We have to look at really what's most important. Derelict females or not, young brothers who will have to develop are. We have to deal with this. If these other women here don't want to also help and develop these other women as well and bring them along in a very good path, I don't know what to tell you. But y'all will be left out. And that's just where this thing is. Damn anything else. And let's take 2020, move forward here with this in a very positive manner. And let's work with these brothers, man. Let's do the best we can with this. And let's be an organ for really helping helping to facilitate this process better in any which way that we can. And everything else is bullshit. And I'm sorry
Yeah,
to put it but that's who we are. As far as I'm concerned, there's no more debate. This is over. And I'm out, though. I'm out.
yeah, man. Like that's the thing that we got going here. It's kind of like wasted so much time trying to deal with motherfuckers who we should have stayed the fuck away from in the first place. That it's kind of hard to let people know that, hey man, your parents can't be saved, your uncle can't be saved, any of these motherfuckers you love can't be fucking saved. But at the end of the day, you got to start pushing this mindset very early because you're not going to be able to keep being able to be competitive with these type of people around, man. It's just not going to fucking work. Not in this type of age and manner that the way that things are going. So let me get up out of here. So you got any last words to go on closing statements before we get up out of here?
Yeah, very simple. I'm out, though. That's it. I'm out, though. And there is no debate. That's it, gentlemen. Awesome. MOT, thank you, man, for dropping this hot fire stream. Love great stuff. And I'll see you over at the Brain Trust, my friend.
All
All
right,
right.
cool, man. All right, thanks for
All right.
coming out, Nagone. Super Trees, you still there?
Thank you, man. Thank
I'm
you.
still
All
here.
right. Yeah, man. Final words before we get up out of here.
Yeah, my final
Close statement.
words are, just when we start talking about these actual debates back and forth and people making standards and my question to people is, let's just look at things from a logical standpoint. Um, Number one, when you affiliating yourself based on ethnicity, define that particular ethnicity. In this particular case, define blackness. And I'm talking about actually define it. Lay it out, black and white. And then don't move the goalpost. And then once you actually define what blackness is, then we start taking an accountability of or taking an account of the individuals that you surrounded yourself with, and then we'll find out if they're black or if they're not based on your own definition. The definition that we will hold you to. And then once you actually define that and you've established the people around you that who are black and who are not, right? Now what you do is you find yourself that you've pigeonholed yourself. You've based your affiliation with others based on an ethnic affiliation, and you haven't actually set a standard based on performance. And this is the argument that I consistently hear denouncing a particular ethnic group, exalting another, but never actually substantiating qualifiers, performance measures that actually determine from a quantifiable standpoint, what is the better option? And this is something that they consistently avoid. They don't want to do it. Because just trust me, performance can be quantified. In zeros, ones, twos, threes, and fours. There's a numerical value that can be applied to somebody's performance. And if you can't actually determine metrics, then we'll just look at the outcomes. And then when we start looking at outcomes, we see the same thing. You can't specifically say that just because you make the choice to be with somebody who looks like you doesn't mean that that was the better choice. And I need people to actually start evaluating individuals who make choices and then look at their outcomes and then determine if that was the right choice or if it wasn't. But see, that they're going to consistently avoid that metric because, again, that's going to go against their argument because they want to be able to move that goalpost. And so when you say something that's emotionally based, I'm black, your mama black, then you can never actually hold them accountable. Again, like Nagone said, there is no debate. Notice how no one ever shows up to your panels, MOT. Now, it's over 200 people that was watching this stream. So I know they know the stream is there. I know they know your panel exists. You have over 10,000 subscribers. But nobody wants to come here with that nonsense because they know they'll get shut down. And I'm going to just leave it at that.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's a debate to be had. The only debate that I want to know is, what the fuck were you thinking? And could you tell me, when was we supposed to be able to compete with the rest of the world based off the model that you were following? That's the debate now. The debate now is having them show up and explain their motherfucking self about these statistics that are the outcomes of what they are doing. That's where the debate's at now. The debate's at is making these motherfuckers take responsibility for the actions and the activities of where we're at right now. That's the current level of debate. Show me, oh practicer of game, why the fuck you keep going into this fucking shit every fucking couple of fucking days if this shit actually works? Tell me, how the fuck are we supposed to get productive fucking families with a derelict fucking female who can do whatever the fuck she wants to? Tell me how the fuck we supposed to get there. If this is the actual case that you guys set up, it's time for these motherfuckers to start showing results. We know Stop Fucking With This Shit got results of its own, right? So it's time to make these motherfuckers start looking at the actual things that they're providing in this circumstance and making them answer for it. That's where we at, man.
Well, real quick, before we close out, Nagone, I want to post something in the chat with your permission.
No, he's gone. He's gone.
Excuse me?
No, he's gone. No,
Who's gone?
he's out of here. Gone. He's already logged off. So what you about to post?
No, I want to post something in the chat with your permission. It's an actual link to a YouTube video, and it depicts actually it's an actual footage of Middle Eastern women policing themselves. Something that you'll never see.
Yeah.
So this is a video for everybody that's listening. I just posted a link in the chat. I'm going to post it a couple of times, so make sure that you guys get it. And I want you guys, at the conclusion of this stream, to check out this particular video. It's a very, very brief video, maybe like 30 seconds or something like that. And basically, it's a video of Middle Eastern women confronting another Middle Eastern woman for inadequate hijab. So hijab, and for those of you that are unaware, it's a particular, just a basic code, dress code, in a certain regard, where women actually have to cover themselves. Basically, the antithesis to thotting that we see here in the United States. And so in this video, you see the women confronting them, and they exchange some words, and the woman is kind of standing her ground, basically affirming that she can, basically, that she's within her rights to wear what she's wearing. Now, we may look at the outfits, from our American eyes and say, well, I don't see what's wrong that she's covered up. But in the video, you'll notice that there's part of her hair is showing. I think some of her arms are showing. So we look at this as an extreme measure, but understand, in the grand scheme of things, in a greater context, when we're talking about trajectory, right? And let's talk about trajectory as a function of tangent and velocity. Tangent and velocity. So you have an actual object in motion. And then you take an object in proximity to said object in motion. You set its course on a tangent with a certain velocity. Now, even if that tangent is but a millimeter off from the main object, you look at those two objects maybe 1 foot from its starting point, if that tangent is but maybe a fraction of a degree, and it will appear that both objects are actually moving parallel to one another, because not enough time has elapsed from the point of origin to the current place. But if you take that from that starting point and you are to graph that out to say an hour, a year, 10 years, 30 years, then you'll notice that from the starting point, these objects are very far from each other. That's what happens with even a small tangent, is that eventually at some point, the object that was moving on the tangent is very far away from the object that it originally was associated with. This is the reason why you have these extremes that you'll see in that video. Like, you can't allow even a little bit of deviation from a predetermined standard, because at some point further down the line, right, when people have forgotten where the starting point is, you have two separate entities in two separate locations. The factions that you have within a quote unquote community. There was a starting point where we were all on the same accord, but we're far away from that starting point. People that were at that starting point are no longer alive today, so we don't have that point of reference. This is the reason why once you set a standard, you got to stand on it. No exceptions. And we can't allow people who are compromised because they have a vested interest in somebody who goes against that actual standard to actually make standards for people in the future. So again, I want y'all to check out that video, and I want y'all to think about that. Think about how when you hear people say, people are so harsh, and we wonder why people in these other countries are so strict on their women. There's a specific reason why, because if you give them an inch, they'll take 6 feet. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but 10 years down the line, you'll see a distinct difference. Thank you, MOT.
Thanks so much, man. Thanks so much for coming out, Super Triz. At the end of the day, we have to understand that this shit is everybody's fucking responsibility. SYSBM or fucking not. Everybody's fucking responsible from here on out. Somebody's pushing bullshit, everybody's responsible for the fucking outcome of these fucking actions. You can't let these fucking reptiles come out here and print their bullshit ad nauseum because they're trying to get a check out of this dysfunction going around in this motherfucker, man. Everybody's responsible for the fucking outcome. If you look at that fucking video, everybody wanted to be responsible for what the fuck they wanted to be surrounded by. Everybody's responsible. Everybody's responsible. That's why SBM is about choosing what the fuck you want to be around. Because everybody wants to be happy at the end of the day. So we're making a move to be happy. And if the women don't fucking follow, fuck it. We already got a better outcome without them anyway. I want to thank everybody for coming out. I want to thank everybody for super chatting. I want to thank everybody for like, comment, sharing, and subscribing. I'm the man of tomorrow, and you guys have a really nice day. Peace.
Peace.